Drive today, we check out a silent yet angrier Porsche Taycan and ruffle some feathers as we pit the latest Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R against a decade-old favorite Triumph Daytona. Hello and welcome to Overdrive. I am Soini Dant. The Porsche Taycan's entrance into the automotive realm has been nothing short of an electrifying saga. In fact, 4 years ago, when it entered the automotive sector, it turned out to be an emblem for Porsche's ambitious electrification plans. Now there is a new one, and on the face of it, it does look like a midlife makeover, but a lot has changed under its skin. Here's Rohit with all the details.
The Porsche Taycan came about 4 years ago, and it instantly showcased the German sports car makers' prowess at creating electric cars. You know, the typical aerodynamic shape of a Porsche, or the lack of grills and air dams at the front because Porsches are typically rear-engined, or that magic potion when it comes to razor-fast reflexes and that telepathic handling. All of these things are characteristic to the steeds that come out of Stuttgart. So adapting all of that for a fast, four-door electric vehicle wasn't really rocket science, and the Taycan delivered. In fact, Porsche have delivered over 150,000 of these around the globe, out of which about 191 are delivered in India. That amounts to about 10% of their local sales. Those kind of numbers coming for a premium, expensive, four-door electric like this is no joke. Now, we can always argue that it was easy pickings for the Taycan back then because there was hardly any competition. But in today's times, all the German luxury car makers have varied options across varied body styles, and then you have the Asian options or even cars from Korea that are giving you excellent performance. So for the Taycan to still maintain that benchmark as the best electric vehicle you can buy, they needed to do a lot more than a simple nip and tuck job for its midlife makeover.
Porsche's decided that rather than fiddling around the edges, they would rather take a chainsaw to the Taycan's refresh. So what you get is a Taycan that accelerates more rapidly, charges with increased speed and stability, and offers more range than before. For example, the Taycan Turbo S in its latest guise is not merely provoking its petrol-powered cousins, but is now blitzing past them, hitting the ton in 2.4 seconds. In India, the Taycan Turbo will lead the charge, catapulting from 0 to 100 in a swift 2.7 seconds. And even the more sedate offerings, like the Taycan 4S and the base Taycan, still deliver more verve and vigor than before, with more power and quicker acceleration. The increase in acceleration across the board is attributable to a rise in system output. The base model alone sees a jump of 60 kilowatt, while the Turbo flexes its muscles with an astonishing 884 PS. The visual cues of the Taycan's evolution are subtle yet significant. Porsche has finished the design by sharpening the aesthetics. The flattened headlights and the broadened front wings articulate the Taycan's stance, making it appear assertive and wide. The rear end, while subtly refreshed, is accentuated by the Porsche logo in a new illuminated guise.
This little crease that you see right on top of the headlight, that wasn't there on the outgoing car. This one improves the aerodynamic efficiency. And the tires on these are the Pirelli P0R. Now these are specifically designed with Porsche for the Taycan. These are lower resistance than the outgoing car and yet manage to give you better grip around winding roads. All of this combined gives you better efficiency. In fact, the wheels and tires alone are contributing to 40 kilometers extra range on the overall claim.
Speaking of range, the new Taycan climbs to an optimistic 678 kilometers on the WLTP cycle, flaunting a 35% range improvement. This is courtesy of the collective efforts of enhanced aerodynamics, an optimized powertrain, advanced energy recuperation, and the latest range management software. The Taycan's performance battery too has been on the growth spurt, ballooning from a respectable 93 kilowatt-hour to a more substantial 105 kilowatt-hour, and yet being lighter than before. Equally worthy of note is the Taycan's enhanced recharging capabilities.
Another bit of improvement that Porsche has managed in the Taycan is with the charging types. So now you can have up to 320 kilowatt fast charging. That's if the charger supports it, if the infrastructure supports it. But when you do, what Porsche have done is they have increased the number of minutes for which you can use that kind of fast charging. So in about 18 minutes, you can go from 10 to 80%. What they've done now is employed better thermal management with the batteries, which essentially means that the batteries can stay cooler for longer during the fast charging period. Now, when you are at highway speeds, like I am at right now, when you have a slow-moving vehicle or a long vehicle in front of you, what you can engage is the boost mode. This little switch right here in the middle of the drive mode, select on the satellite button, press that, and for 10 seconds, you get a massive boost of power. 70 kilowatt to be precise, for 10 seconds. So you can quickly pull your overtake and get back into your lane.
This makes maneuvers like overtaking, corner exits, and just accelerating in a straight line more thrilling. The new Taycan's ride quality significantly benefits from the introduction of the active ride function. This new feature builds upon the plush air suspension of the previous Taycan, which is now standard, but the addition of active ride brings new dimensions to the Taycan's handling and comfort.
Air suspension is now standard on the Taycan, but what you can also opt for is active ride. So essentially, it begins with opening the door. Whenever you open the door, the car is going to raise itself by about 50 millimeters, and that is to make the ingress and egress a little bit more convenient. Now, we've seen this tech in the past. What active ride also gets you is an active lean control. So essentially, when you're approaching winding roads, the car is going to lean into the corner, and like a motorcycle. You also have the active skyhook, which essentially is going to only let the wheels move up and down while the rest of the body remains stable. Again, something that you've heard us say in the past with some of the other vehicles.
Switching to sport mode alters the Taycan's character to that of a traditional Porsche, allowing you more natural chassis movements and providing that familiar Porsche driving dynamics. Porsche's focus on a holistic driving experience, including superior driving dynamics, luxurious interiors, and the brand's prestigious heritage, offers a more comprehensive package that appeals to a broad spectrum of consumers. Porsche's commitment to real-world usability is evident in the Taycan's increased range and reduced charging times, addressing common concerns like range anxiety and the inconvenience of long charging periods. These enhancements cater not only to the practical aspects of owning an EV, but also align well with the expectations of Porsche's customer base.
At launch, Porsche will introduce the Taycan base, there'll be the Taycan 4S and the Taycan Turbo. Will the Taycan GT arrive to our shores? Well, only time will tell. If there is enough demand, it might actually come there. The 911 GT3 RS is there, so why not the GT? I think it might make for an excellent track tool if you want to go that electrification way.
Porsche has been pushing the boundaries of performance with each and every model of the Taycan that it has on offer today. And the fastest one of them all is the Weissach Pack, which goes from 0 to 100 kmph in just 2.1 seconds. That's blisteringly quick. We'll get you that story on next week's show. We'll take a very quick break here on the show for now though. Come back because on the other side we pit a middleweight super sport motorcycle, the hottest one there is today, against one that was hot a decade ago. Stay with us, you're watching Overdrive.